What was interesting was they had just put down a new gymnasium floor. And so I thought what a key point was one of the things they were most interested in was to make sure they could protect the floor from a humidity standpoint. So we decided to take a look at it from more of a design build or solution-based problem. So it was our goal to, how do we handle this? How do we take care of this? What is the best piece of equipment for this? And that's why we went to Carrier, because they had digital scroll compressors, and instead of just a standard 3 stages or 4 stages of cooling, the digital scrolls has either 37 or 50, or depending on what size the equipment ends up being, you can have more stages, but 37 stages is huge over that, and by having those multiple steps, it allows us to run the equipment in a longer period of time, which removes humidity, removes moisture.
Just the sheer size and weight and the location of them present a big challenge, because we have to get the old units out and the new units in. And we're looking at multiple options. We contact multiple crane companies. We were out at the site many times analyzing this, and it's either between a 300-ton crane or a helicopter, which certainly would make things a lot quicker. The day of demolition and rigging would go by a lot faster, so we like to go with the helicopter.
And due to the fact that this was a helo lift operation, there's a bit more interaction when it comes to safety. So what we had was a safety brief on the ground crew first. And this was before the helicopter ever arrived. This was so we could designate things like PPE gear, what was to be used, and positioning of all of our people in the field and where they were to be. So these are all components and part of the safety brief. Who was to receive it, who was to rig it, how it was to be rigged, using static lines, using tag lines. We had 4 tag lines on each piece of equipment, 1 in each corner. This is so that we could gain positive control of the equipment at about 10 to 15 feet above ground and guide it into position. And then the last component, of course, was the safety brief from the actual pilot himself, who gave that once he got on site. And he did a complete walkthrough of both sites. And then we got together, we handed out the walkie-talkies, we talked about how the communications were going to be from the flight crew to the ground crew, what our goals, what our benchmarks were to be, including where do you want the equipment. So all of this was actually discussed prior to ever lifting anything off the ground. It was imperative that everybody knew that goggles had to be worn, headgear with chin straps so that the rotor wash didn't blow the helmets off. And kind of what to expect, because a lot of people had never done a helicopter lift before, and they didn't realize that they were going to have almost 400-mile-an-hour rotor wash hitting them at the time that equipment was coming down. And that can be literally an eye-opening experience for somebody who's never witnessed that before. So with that said, it was a lot of fun for everybody, and I'm glad to say that nobody got hurt, and it was a safe operation.